Breaking news, hot off the press, head coach Tyler Marsh has confirmed that no one was targeting Angel Reese.
I think when everyone else did, I think that it's something that we heard about, and so again, we're just forthcoming with anything that the league is able to do investigation.
Just moments ago, everything changed. The Chicago Sky coach has officially broken his silence, and what he just revealed completely shatters Angel Reese's claims about Caitlyn Clark and racism.
Picking sides, race, and all that. I think it's just hoop. Caitlyn thinks of it as a rivalry at all. I think she just comes to hoop, and she knows that she's got a competitor coming to hoop against her, and she wants to beat her every time she plays against her.
For weeks, the media has been spinning this narrative, but now we have proof that something doesn't add up. The coach's own words expose a bombshell truth, and you're about to hear it all. If you're standing 100% behind Caitlyn Clark, drop 100% for Caitlyn in the comments right now, because this one's going to light up the league.
Caitlyn Clark came out with the 20-10-10 triple-double to start the season.
Caitlyn Clark has made the WNBA relevant.
Caitlyn Clark is the phenomenon. She's the comment. And
Caitlyn Clark was doing stuff where we were like, oh my God, look at the threes, the logo threes, oh my God. It was about the basketball.
Caitlyn Clark went crazy. They won by the most points they've ever won by, I believe, in their franchise history.
When the controversy erupted over alleged racist harassment directed at Angel Reese during a game against the Indiana Fever, the WNBA jumped into action. A full investigation was launched, social media exploded, and headlines screamed that Reese had been targeted by fans. But now that narrative has hit a brick wall, and the blow came from someone inside her own locker room. Chicago Sky assistant coach Tyler Marsh, who was on the sidelines during that very game, has now gone on record.
Yeah, I think we agree. I think we're in compliance with them, with the league, and obviously there's no room or space in our game for hate. So we're compliant with everything.
Coach, when did you become aware that there was hate speech that happened?
I think when everyone else did. I think that it's something that we heard about, and so again, we're just forthcoming with anything that the league is able to do investigation on.
And just a quick follow-up on it, just because you coached in Indiana, did you ever have any issues with that while you were coaching there?
I think my focus was always on the team and on the organization and doing my job as best as I could. And so, that's kind of.
Were you learning this throughout the game, or just at that moment?
Oh, I was concentrated on our team and what we were doing game plan wise against Indiana.
And what he said stunned everyone. When asked directly when he became aware of the alleged hate speech, Marsh calmly responded, when everyone else did. That's right, not during the game, not after the buzzer, not even later that night, but only when the league publicly announced an investigation.
Tyler Marsh just confirmed. I didn't hear about this thing until y'all heard about it. How is you the head coach? You didn't hear about anything because nothing ever happened. He just closed the investigation. He just destroyed it.
Let that sink in. The team's coach, responsible for Angel Reese's safety and well-being on the court, says he had no clue anything inappropriate had occurred. If Reese had truly been the victim of live racist attacks from fans in the crowd, wouldn't her coach be the first to know? Wouldn't there be immediate sideline reports, alerts to security, or some kind of documented protest from the bench? But there were none. In fact, Marsh doubled down, saying his focus was purely on the game and game planning, not on any alleged misconduct in the stands. That single quote, "I think my focus was always on the team and the organization and doing my job the best I could," spoke volumes. Even more telling, Marsh showed zero outrage or personal concern, a tone completely opposite to what you'd expect from someone whose player had supposedly been racially harassed. His flat professional response painted a very different picture. Nothing happened, at least nothing worth raising an alarm about at the time. This revelation doesn't just poke holes in Reese's story, it collapses the entire narrative. If her own coach didn't see it, hear it, or even learn about it until much later, the question must be asked. Was Angel Reese using this claim to manipulate public opinion and deflect criticism, especially from her ongoing rivalry with Caitlyn Clark,
This rivalry, it started way back there and then fell into college and, it then carried over to here.
And that's what makes this moment so explosive. The truth isn't coming from a media outlet or from a fan or even from Caitlyn Clark herself. It's coming from inside the Chicago sky. And that makes it impossible to ignore. Now that we've heard the bombshell truth from Chicago Sky coach Tyler Marsh, it's time to turn the spotlight back on Angel Reese.
And everything's a big deal, and everything is personal.
You need the competition, and you need the rivalry. That's what I was saying. The only thing is, again, you don't want it to become where Angel Reese has to do that.
I get it.
Because her words simply don't match up. While Marsh was calm and factual, Reese has been emotionally painting herself as a victim of racial harassment. And she's not just implying it, she's flat out saying it happened. In her post-game interview, Reese told the media, quote, "Obviously, there's no place in this league for that. I've had communication from so many people across this league supporting me, and obviously in the moment, it's hard to hear." She's referring to the alleged racist and hateful remarks from Indiana Fever fans, remarks she insists were shouted at her during the game. She doubled down, describing how difficult it was to go through this whole process and how thankful she was for the support she received.
I think they're just two competitive hoopers that really are like, one of them might not like the other one might not think the other one is whatever.
But now that we know her own coach wasn't even aware of any such incident, how do we make sense of this? Was Reese genuinely hearing something that no one else around her noticed? Not a teammate, not an assistant, not a coach, not a referee, not a reporter, not even a camera microphone in a nationally broadcast game? Or was this part of a larger, carefully constructed narrative? Because here's where it gets even more suspicious. Angel Reese has a documented history of turning controversy into currency.
RG3 called what Angel Reese did hate. He said you could see the hate on her face for Caitlyn Clark. The one thing we know about RG3 is he's not having conversations at his home about what Black women have to endure in this country, about what young Black women and athletes like Angel Reese have had to deal with being on the opposite side of Caitlyn Clark's rise and ascension into stardom. No.
After taunting Caitlyn Clark at the NCAA championship with the now infamous "you can't see me" gesture, Reese was unapologetic. In fact, she declared proudly, "I'll take the villain role. I'll wear it." She's leaned into it ever since, capitalizing on the drama to build her personal brand, amplify her social media presence, and dominate headlines. And make no mistake, it's worked. But when playing the villain doesn't land well with fans or the media, suddenly she becomes the victim. The narrative flips. "I'm not a bully, I'm being targeted."
Angel Reese. And she too is still claiming, allegedly, that she was being harassed, bruh. That people was targeting her, bruh.
We've seen this cycle repeat more than once. After a hard foul on Caitlyn Clark during a recent game, it wasn't Clark who cried foul, it was Reese. She claimed some players get a special whistle.
And that was it. I don't think Caitlyn's to blame for anything. I mean, she doesn't speak up, doesn't fight, never bitches about not getting foul calls she should, never bitches about getting called for fouls that she didn't make.
Implying the league protects Clark and penalizes her unfairly. That's a serious accusation, and once again, completely unsupported by game footage or official statements. It's pure conjecture designed to keep the spotlight on her and shift blame away from her own questionable play. And now we're seeing that same script again with the Indiana game. First, a blowout loss to Caitlyn Clark and the Fever. Then, headlines dominated not by basketball, but by allegations of racism from fans. And just like that, Reese is back in the center of attention, not for her performance, but for her perceived mistreatment. But here's the problem. It's not working like it used to. Fans are getting smarter. Analysts are asking tougher questions. And now even people within her own organization aren't backing the story. This is more than just a contradiction. It's a credibility crisis.
Those things are good. They're good for ratings. They're good for business. They're good for fan interest. They're good for jersey sales. They are good.
You can't claim you were harassed in real time if no one around you noticed. You can't blame racism for every rivalry moment, especially when the league is full of players of all backgrounds. And the spotlight you're receiving is coming from the very same system you claim is against you. Angel Reese is playing a dangerous game. She wants to be the star, the villain, the hero, and the victim all at once. But you can't be all those things at the same time without eventually being exposed. And after today, with Coach Marsh's revelation, we're getting closer and closer to that moment of exposure. By now, we've seen how the coach's statement dismantles Angel Reese's claims and how her contradictory behavior raises serious questions.
Yeah, obviously there's no place in this league for that. I think the WNBA and our team and our organization has done a great job supporting me. I've had communication from everyone, from so many people across this league, and being able to support me and going through this whole process. Obviously, it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone, and I think they've done a great job supporting us.
But there's a third, and arguably even more disturbing, layer to this controversy: the media spin machine. Over the past year, especially since Caitlyn Clark burst into the national spotlight, certain corners of the sports media have worked overtime to frame this rivalry through the lens of race, not skill, not stats, not actual basketball, but skin color. And the results have been divisive, dangerous, and deeply dishonest. Let's start with ESPN and its high-profile voices. From Stephen A. Smith to Ryan Clark, the narrative they've been peddling is clear. If you support Caitlyn Clark, you must be part of a racial agenda. If you criticize Angel Reese, it must be rooted in racism. The moment Caitlyn Clark draws a foul or gets a whistle, the take machine lights up. Favoritism, privilege, the white girl treatment. But where's the evidence? Where is the proof that Caitlyn Clark asked for special treatment? Where is the proof that her fans are racist? Where is the accountability for the other side? The ones throwing elbows, delivering flagrant fouls, and jumping off the bench to celebrate dirty plays? There's none. Instead, these media figures push vague generalizations.
I wish our media colleagues realized a little bit better that they were being played by the algorithm, because they're all athletes.
And imply a sinister undercurrent that simply doesn't exist for most fans. In reality, the average Caitlyn Clark supporter admires her because she is a once-in-a-generation basketball talent, a Steph Curry with Jason Kidd's vision, pulling up from the logo and dropping dimes across the court. It's about greatness, it's about skill, it's about how she's revolutionized women's basketball and brought in record-breaking viewership, ticket sales, and media attention. And yet, people like Ryan Clark and RG3 go on national platforms.
Caitlyn Clark is a likable and lovable superstar. She pays homage to the stars of the past. She pays homage to the Black women that have come before her. And now she is carrying the mantle forward. Caitlyn Clark is the most important player in the WNBA.
Caitlyn Clark knows what's coming. Caitlyn Clark rises up and is the star.
Caitlyn Clark is phenomenal. She is somebody like we have never seen before.
You guys are lucky you have Caitlyn Clark. You are lucky you have the Indiana Fever.
And act like those fans are secretly part of some racial conspiracy. It's insulting, not just to Clark's fan base, but to the intelligence of everyone watching. These aren't fringe voices shouting into the void. These are mainstream broadcasters with massive audiences, and they're shaping a public perception that's divorced from the facts.
Obviously it's tough, but I think I have a great support system. I'm loved by so many people, and obviously in the moment it's hard to hear, but my support system is great. God has protected me in so many different ways. I've gone through so many different things in the past couple of years of my life, but I think just having this support and this love and being a part of an organization that really supports me and loves me is something that I couldn't imagine not being a part of.
What do you think the league's response, just coming out right away and getting that investigation going?
Yeah, obviously, like I said, they understand that this is the priority. Obviously, there's no place for this, and they preach. I think 2 days before they put out no hate, no speech. And obviously, the women in this league, they know that, and know there's no space for that. And I believe that every player in this league deserves to be treated with respect and want to come to work and just have fun and have a great environment to work at. So I think they've done a great job putting that out, and we're obviously just going to respond as they need to.
Were you able to get...
Then there's Angel Reese herself, who has liked tweets suggesting that Clark's popularity is due to being white and that all of her fans are racist. Let's call that what it is: reckless and inflammatory. She's liked comments that directly insult Caitlyn's fans and then plays the victim when those same fans criticize her for her on-court behavior. That's not fair play, it's manipulative. And fans have noticed. In fact, the backlash is growing. Many longtime WNBA supporters and new fans alike are pushing back against this race-baiting narrative. They're calling out the media's double standards. They're rejecting the idea that you can't support Caitlyn Clark without being labeled a racist. And they're demanding that the conversation return to the actual game. Even respected sports analysts have had enough. One pointed out that if Caitlyn Clark were a man, or if this were the NBA, a hard foul would just be basketball, not a racial incident. Another compared the false media narrative to Bird versus Magic, except there's a key difference. Bird and Magic respected each other, and their rivalry elevated the league. What we have here is a forced feud, one fueled more by media manipulation and social media toxicity than genuine competition. And make no mistake, this is hurting the game. Every time the headlines focus on hate speech, racism, and attitude,
WNBA launched an investigation. That the WNBA launched their No Space for Hate campaign. No space for hate. No space for hate. Tyler Marsh just admitted he did not hear any hate speech during the game, and he didn't even know about this until the WNBA launched an investigation.
Instead of incredible performances and game-changing stats, the league takes a step backward. Instead of celebrating Caitlyn Clark dropping 35 points and breaking records, we're stuck debating a foul. Instead of appreciating Angel Reese's hustle and defense, we're wondering what she'll say at her next press conference. It's not basketball, it's clickbait culture. And who suffers the most? Not Caitlyn Clark, not Angel Reese, the fans, the sport, the young girls looking for role models. When the Chicago Sky coach said he didn't hear a thing, it wasn't just a contradiction, it was a wake-up call. It exposed how quickly lies can spread when they serve a convenient media narrative, and how truth becomes irrelevant when the storyline sells. The fans are tired. They don't want a soap opera. They want buzzer beaters, rivalry games, and record-breaking performances.
All right, heading back to the airport. Just went to game one, Caitlyn Clark show. Triple-double, 20-10-10. Fever win by 40. I win $400K because I had 13-1. I told you it was Caitlyn's season. The Fever, the team to beat. And then obviously Angel Reese, who actually played okay and looked like she improved her game, made a mockery of her existence. She got fouled, totally common foul by Caitlyn Clark, going for a layup, falls down and then attacks her basically and makes it just a joke out of her existence and why everybody hates Angel Reese. And shame on the WNBA upgrading this to a flagrant foul. That's a flagrant foul. It was the most common routine foul of all time. End of the story. It's a win-win-win. Fever looked great. Caitlyn Clark looks like she's going to be the MVP of the league. Angel Reese made a fool out of herself, and we won by 100, and I won. So we're back in the good mode, back in the winning. Yesterday was tough with the Celtics, but we're back, baby, and it all starts with who? CC, 22, Caitlyn Clark.
And they want to cheer for their favorite players without being told they're part of some imaginary war. So to the media pushing this toxic agenda, to the race baiters who've hijacked this rivalry for profit, and to every commentator too afraid to say what's obvious, stop, let them play, let us watch, and let the game speak for itself. Because the truth is clear now. The only thing Angel Reese is a victim of is getting caught. So now the truth is out, and it couldn't be clearer. The Chicago Sky coach said it himself. There was no harassment, no racist attack, nothing but basketball. That one statement pulled the mask off a false narrative and exposed a calculated attempt to play the victim. Angel Reese can keep spinning the story and the media can keep feeding the fire, but the facts won't change. Caitlyn Clark has stayed focused, silent, and classy through it all. She hasn't needed excuses or headlines. She lets her game do the talking, breaking records, selling out arenas, and lifting the WNBA to heights it's never seen.
This is what a sellout looks like. 17,274 fans, and it was fully sold out. It was packed.
I'm looking at Caitlyn Clark make an announcement today that it's over. The BS, denying her place in the game. She's going to rewrite and shatter the record books. She could easily average a triple-double.
Meanwhile, Reese is building her image not on performance, but on provocation. But now the lies are starting to unravel, and people are paying attention. If you're with Caitlyn, if you believe in truth over hype and basketball over drama, drop 100% for Caitlyn in the comments. Let the world know where the real support lies, Because this isn't just a rivalry anymore. It's a reality check, and the scoreboard doesn't lie.